Italy is one of the easiest countries in Europe to recognize on a map. It is the peninsula with the familiar boot shape stretching south into the Mediterranean. But inside that outline, the land changes dramatically. A mountain wall in the north, a broad plain below it, then a long peninsula split by a mountain spine and ending in two large islands. Seen from the wider map of Europe, its position is unmistakable. Along the north, it shares borders with four neighbours: France, Switzerland, Austria, and Slovenia. Inside Italy are two much smaller states as well: San Marino, set in the northeast, and Vatican City, enclosed within Rome. Around the peninsula lie several seas. To the west, the Ligurian and Tyrrhenian. To the east, the Adriatic. And to the south, the Ionian. Sicily and Sardinia complete the picture, making Italy a country of islands as much as mainland. Italy covers just over 300,000 square kilometres, about 116,000 square miles. Nearly 59 million people live here. And at the centre of the country's political life stands its capital, Rome. At the very top, the Alps form a dramatic northern wall, Italy's strongest natural boundary. This is where the peninsula meets the rest of continental Europe. Just below that wall, the land suddenly opens into the Po Valley, Italy's largest and flattest plain. After the mountains, it gives way to wide, flat, densely settled country. The north also features another striking sight: its famous lakes, Garda, Como, Maggiore. They sit right where the steep Alps drop toward the lowlands. South of the plain, the Apennines run like a spine down the middle of the peninsula. From there, Italy becomes longer, narrower, and more broken by relief. Ridges, basins, valleys, and shorter lowland stretches begin to replace the broad openness of the north. That spine also helps split the peninsula into two very different sides. On the west, the coast opens toward the Ligurian and Tyrrhenian seas, with wider bays and more varied coastal space. On the east, the Adriatic side is simpler, with the shore and the rising interior much closer together. The rivers also help define the country's geography. In the north, the Po dominates the plain. Further south, the Arno and the Tiber are closely tied to their landscapes and urban centres. The contrast becomes even clearer when you look at the major cities. Milan belongs to the northern lowlands. Rome sits in central Italy on the Tyrrhenian side. Naples belongs to the south, where dense settlement and steep ground meet a land shaped by eruptions. Volcanoes also help define this part of the country. They are the fiery signature of the African plate pushing against Europe, and they light up the map in two main clusters. Near Naples, Vesuvius rises sharply above the bay, the same cone that buried Pompeii in 79 AD and last erupted in 1944. Just west of the city lies the Campi Flegrei, a vast restless caldera of craters, fumaroles, and boiling mud pools that can lift the ground itself. Even further south, attention shifts to the islands. On Sicily, Europe's tallest and most active volcano, Etna, towers over the eastern coast, its summit often capped in snow, while fresh lava flows down its flanks. Just north, the Aeolian Islands form a perfect volcanic arc in the Tyrrhenian Sea. Here, Stromboli has been erupting almost without pause for at least 1,300 years, its rhythmic explosions earning it the nickname Lighthouse of the Mediterranean. Nearby, Volcano still steams and hisses, a reminder that the fire beneath Italy is never far away. These volcanoes don't just scar the landscape, they enrich it. Their ash creates some of the country's most fertile soils, and their dramatic cones have shaped everything from ancient myths to modern vineyards and hill towns. By the time you reach the far south, the boot shape becomes unmistakable again. Apulia forms the heel. Calabria narrows into the toe. Just across the narrow Strait of Messina lies Sicily. It has its own major cities, a mountainous interior, and coasts facing in several directions. Farther west, Sardinia feels more separate. The stretch of sea is wider, the interior is rougher and less urban, and the island stands more clearly on its own. So the country takes shape in a clear sequence. First the Alpine wall, then the northern plain, then the mountain spine down the middle, then the two contrasting coasts, then the rugged south, and finally the islands beyond. That larger picture also makes the regional map easier to understand. Officially, Italy has 20 regions, but they're usually grouped into 5 broader parts. First, the northwest, Western Alps, the famous lakes, and the Western Po Valley. Then the northeast, the Eastern Plain, the Adriatic coast, the Lagoon of Venice, and the mountains beyond. Then the centre, hills, river valleys, historic cities, and a narrower peninsula between 2 seas. Then the south, shorter plains, steeper slopes, and stronger contrast between mountain and sea. And finally the islands, Sicily and Sardinia, each distinct from the mainland and from each other. So this is the first broad map of Italy. Not one single landscape, but mountains, plains, coasts, cities, volcanoes and islands, all inside one very familiar outline. The shape is easy to recognize. What takes longer to see is how much changes inside it. And that is exactly where the regional story begins.